Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Token back with another VGC Climbing the Ladder episode, as we did miss yesterday, but that was because I worked a really long shift and it was just too late when I was able to finally get around to recording. I do plan on actually doing some bulk recording today so that we can have an episode already up for tomorrow, so that we don't have another late episodes today. It is going to be a late episode, but I thought a late episode was better than no episode for today. So thank you anyways though for tuning in into today's episode. Hope you guys do enjoy it, as we still are enjoying using some QR teams this week. And I know I said that I would use each QR team for 2 days, but I really hated that last one I was using, so hopefully I'll use this one for 2 days, another one for 2 days, and then we can move on to maybe getting back to building a team for next week. Well, not maybe, we will be going back to building like an actual team for next week. Just wanted to try out some of these QR teams for this week. This is going to be a really cool QR team that James Baek actually made. He goes by James Speed 1 on the Battle Spot ladder, and I think on Shoutout. And he's a fantastic battler. I run into him all the time, and he beats me every single time. So he's a really fantastic battler, and he loves using like things that aren't standard. He loves using very low usage Pokemon and making them good, and having them just be supported very well by the rest of their team. As he beat me with like Beware not too long ago. So yeah, he's really good at doing stuff like that. And this is a really interesting QR team that he was able to put together. So I'm excited to use it. I say let's just hop right into it, and let's just see exactly what we can do with this team. I'm excited. So yeah, hopefully we can get back into the 1700s and start to make some noise with these QR teams. I might end up using this one just for a long while if I don't end up finding one that I like. So we'll see though. We'll see. Alright, we get a 1581 opponent from California named Marger. Yeah, Marger. And they have a team of Arcanine, Alolan Raichu, Tapu Lele, that Gigalith, Kartana, and Porygon 2, so not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah, I'm actually going to lead Muck, Alolan Muck and Alolan Marowak, because I do not want to, I can lead Tapu Koko, but what's bothering me with that is I don't want to set up the Electric Surge for Raichu, which I think I would end up doing, so I'm trying to avoid doing that. And I will bring Kartana, and last but not least will be Politoed, so we'll go with that. So hopefully I just don't take a Psychic EMZ on Marowak without protecting. That's my only concern with this lead. And other than that, hopefully we have a pretty decent lead. So my opponent goes with Arcanine and Porygon 2. It's a little bit different, or it's a little bit not what I was expecting, but we can play around that. Take a drink of some water. Okay. Alright, so we both do get intimidated, and this Arcanine may even have so right now a taunt wouldn't do much for us, so I'm just going to go for a knockoff, and we actually do not have Bonamarink on this as a Flare Blitz just goes right off into our Muck, which is fine. That is fine. We'll take it pretty poorly, but at least we do have the Figgy Berry to eat up, so we can get back to a decent amount of health. We'll be Shadow Boning that Arcanine. It's going to eat its Citrus Bear. And we do get the knockoff off on Porygon 2. And Porygon 2 goes for Trick Room. So I'm actually just going to protect Muck and go for another Shadow Bone here, as Arcanine does end up switching out though. My opponent does go into Gigalith. That is fine. Head itches. That is fine. So we'll protect the low and muck, and we will just go for that Shadow Bone. Ice Beam does come off into Marowak, interestingly enough. Oh my god. Oh god. First game back, and this is how we get treated. Oh man. So I can at least try to protect with Marowak, and I will be switching out Muck for a Polytoad. Muck is a more valuable as it does have Taunt, and I think it just has an overall better matchup against my opponent's team. We are not able to actually go for that Protect, so this Earthquake will likely take out our Marowak. It doesn't live on just a little bit of health. And an Ice Beam does come off into our Polytoad. That's going to bring us below half a decent amount, so likely won't be sticking around. And how many turns of Trick Room are left? It's 2 turns of Trick Room left. So I'm going to try to protect Marowak again and just go for it, as we are frozen solid, so we likely will be losing both Pokemon here. As the Smackdown actually comes down on Marowak, so that must mean that my opponent has a Thunderbolt that they're really sure will take out our, that they're sure will take out our Polytoad. That is fine. So hopefully we can bounce back from that. That was really unfortunate, so hopefully we can bounce back. Probably a double protect here. And then we'll just have to try to 2-on-4 the rest of my opponent's team. We have gotten Arcanine down to a really low amount of health, so that's the one upside. I will be double protecting, really don't want to take any damage, so we'll just be double protecting. My opponent can use this as an opportunity to go right into their Arcanine. So that's the reason why I didn't want to double protect, but didn't want to take any damage, especially on Kartana. So yeah, it's probably unlikely that we're going to be able to win this one after that freeze had to happen. And it's my fault, honestly, too, for allowing Trick Room to get set up, but the freeze is the real issue. Opponent does switch in Tapu Lele, and they actually switch out Porygon too also. Pretty interesting play, honestly, by my opponent. That's going to allow us to get super effective damage on the Gigalith and on the Tapu Lele, as I did go for Poison Jab on that slot. So, interesting play. Interesting play by my opponent. And we do get a crit, it looked like. Yeah, we did get a crit, so I will take out the... We'll take out my opponent's Lele, so Arcanine will likely be coming back in, which is fine. Hopefully we can, a double target on Gigalith takes it out. So we'll go for the Leaf Blade and the knockoff, and hopefully that's enough to take out Gigalith. Hopefully it doesn't protect. So we do get the Leaf Blade off. We do not take out Gigalith. Have to take a Flare Blitz. It's unlikely we win either way, but At least we're giving it our all. We'll bring us down to our stash. And hopefully this takes it out. Knock off on Gigalith. Oh, and it barely lives. Oh, it more avoids, but Kartana doesn't avoid it. We needed Kartana to avoid also. We needed it. Okay, hopefully the internet decides. Oh no! Oh no! Did my opponent just... Did we just lose our opponent? Wow. Well, that sucks for them. They're in a really good position. What they would have to have done there was they were going to have to go for Flare Blitz, and then I was going to take out the Gigalith. So whether it protected or whatever, I was going to attack into the Gigalith slot. They were going to have to likely go for Flare Blitz, maybe Wall Charge or something. Either way, they probably would have took a lot of recoil damage, and Muck would have likely lived. And then plus the Sandstorm damage would have took out their Arcanine, and then they would have lost their Gigalith. But I do think we would have still lost in the end because we were -1 from that Intimidate on our Alolan Muck. So because of that Intimidate, our Poison Jab probably still wouldn't have done enough even to the Porygon that was missing its Eviolite. So it likely would have lived and then been able to get off another attack and take us out after we already took the Flare Blitz damage from Arcanine. So my opponent was likely going to win that game. Unfortunately for them, though, they did disconnect. We do get a new opponent at 1528 named Hectorcito, and they do have a team of Alolan Muck, Kartana, Salamence, Tapu Koko, Araquanid, and Porygon 2. So another team that we need to actually make sure Trick Room doesn't go up. Just once again, feel sorry for that opponent that we just had. That is too bad. I think this one I do want to lead with Tapu Koko. Yeah, I'll lead with Koko on this one. Koko Kartana seems good. We can go my own Muck in the back, and then we can go Politoed or Marowak. Then we can go Marowak, and we'll see how that goes. I haven't brought the Rain yet, but I just haven't seen a matchup worth it yet. The last one there was a chance that, well, I brought Politoed at least, as Politoed looked pretty strong, but 3 other Pokemon looked a little bit stronger than Dragonite in the last one. But the Rain combination together just hasn't looked strong enough, especially against a team that does have a Araquanid, who's going to be able to take those Scalds pretty nicely. So we'll leave it on the bench for now. So, alright. Challenged by another opponent, Hectorcito. They do lead with Salamence and Kartana. That is a pretty interesting lead by my opponent, as I lead with Tapu Koko and Kartana. So the main thing my opponent can do here is double into Kartana, but what that will mean is that they... Is this a Z move or is it the Gigavolt Havoc? It is Gigavolt Havoc. Well, I'm actually going to Gigavolt Havoc into the Salamence slot, actually. And I will just be going for a Sacred Sword into Kartana. We are sashed, so we will be able to take one of any attack that the opposing Kartana does go for. And Salamence does protect, but that is fine. This Gigavolt Havoc will still do a lot of damage, then we'll be able to go for a Dazzling Gleam after this. So that's fine. Had a feeling Salamence might protect, but... Not much damage this does, even through the protect. And still does quality damage. Get a Leaf Blade into Koko. We'll live that. And we'll get a Sacred Sword off. This Kartana takes that. The opposing Kartana took that really well. So I'm actually going to Dazzling Gleam and go for another Sacred Sword. I'm not 100% sure Dazzling Gleam will take out Kartana, and if we lose the speed tie again, the opposing Kartana will take out our... I know we're -1, but still the Kartana took that well. But yeah, the opposing Kartana will take out our Tapu Koko if we lose the speed tie again. So we'll see what exactly my opponent decides to do. They are taking their time here, so they're really thinking about their move, probably thinking that Salamence can't live this. We'll see though. And Salamence cannot live this, in fact, so that's good. Now it comes down to 2-either in the speed tie to determine if we lose or keep Kartana. We will be losing Tapu Koko, so that's unfortunate, but we will have a regular a Kartana that's back at its regular attack status. The Beast Boost will bring us back to our regular stat. So not too bad. We do come out of that with a Kartana that still is sashed and still hasn't lost any of its still hasn't had its sash broken, so that's pretty nice. I'm trying to think of my opponent's rest of the team. There's a chance that they bring out a Araquanid, which makes me not want to bring out a Alola Marowak, so we'll leave that on the bench for now, and I obviously can just bring that in too in case my opponent brings out that Koko. As the Araquanid does come out, so kind of makes sense why I didn't want to bring out Marowak. Araquanid and Mug. So I'll definitely be knocking off my opponent's... I'm going to protect Kartana, kind of scout out what my opponent wants to go for, and then I'm going to knock off my opponent's Figgy Berry. That's easily the best play for us. So we'll go for that protect. We'll go for a knockoff. Do knock off our opponent's Figgy Berry on their Muck. Oh, it's actually a Black Sludge. Opponent went for the knockoff into Kartana. And went for the Leech Life into Kartana, so that was prime reason why I wanted to protect Kartana. Now we are going to double into Araquanid and just see how much damage we can get off on it. Oh, and we just slightly missed the KO, so that's a little unfortunate, and we may lose Kartana here, I'm not sure. Miracle. Wait, what? What? Can't say I agree with that play, but yeah, I just can't say I agree with that. So here I'm actually going to protect again just to scout out my opponent's Araquanid's protect, as the match was just forfeited, so our opponent realized they didn't have a chance of winning. So we will be able to get another game to make up for that unfortunate DC that my opponent had to take, that DC loss in the first game. So we'll be able to get a third game in this one, which is always pretty fun. I love to have 3 games in these ones, over 2. If it just isn't too long, I definitely like to keep these below 30 minutes. So we will grab another though. We're not too far into the episode, so hopefully it's not too lengthy of a battle, and hopefully we can come out victorious. So we are climbing. I think that's 1657. It sure is. So hopefully we can continue this in this last battle. Alright, and we P2 VGC. We get a 1749, I think that was opponent from Missouri, I think that also was. So, let's look at this. Dragonite just a little bit more. So not leading in with Muck is a little bit is something that can end up backfiring on us, because Porygon can set up a Trick Room and Mudsdale can be the fastest thing on the field, which would be somewhat of an issue. But at the same time, though, I do want to have a better all-around matchup just in case Porygon 2 isn't led. And I do think that Porygon 2 and Marowak 2, Kartana and Marowak provides us with that. So hopefully, if my opponent does lead Porygon 2, hopefully I can maybe double into Porygon 2. As they don't, they lead Arcanine, Tapu Lele, which is fine. Pretty good lead from my opponent. So that's going to be double Intimidate on our 2 Pokemon. So what I'm thinking here is that Arcanine would maybe want to go for some type of Fire Stab into... Yeah, I'm actually going to... Yeah, I'll actually be pulling a double... I think Arcanine wants to go for some type of Fire Stab into Politoed, and then I think Tapu Lele wants to go for Psychic Z or just a Psychic into the Alolan Marowak slot. So hopefully switching into Muck on that slot helps us be immune to whatever attack Lele goes for, and then hopefully switching into Politoed gives us a solid chance to survive whatever Arcanine goes for. So hopefully I got this prediction right. That'd be really nice. Lele actually just protects, which is fine. And Arcanine goes for a Snarl. So that was probably just to break the sash on our Kartana, as we were not in with a special attacker, but that also does actually lower the... That actually will also be lowering the damage output of Politoed, so I will be forced to go for a Hydro Pump as we do connect onto the Arcanine. So even at -1, we do not take out Arcanine with the Hydro Pump, unfortunately, because of that -1 in special attack. So that was a good play on my opponent's part. It definitely worked out for them. We do get a Will-O-Wisp on our Muck, which is unfortunate. I wasn't thinking of Will-O-Wisp Arcanine, so that's a little unfortunate. We'll still do decent damage to this Lele, as it is going for Psychic Z now. This likely will take out our Politoed, as we are a more offensive Politoed. Yeah, so it does take us out. Do get solid damage off on Arcanine beforehand though. So we'll get this Poison Jab off, should still do decent damage. And it does. It's going to be a 3-hit KO. Poison would have been great, but can't have everything. So that was actually a really strong lead from my opponent just overall. So I'm going to protect Kartana. I see my opponent switching out Lele or protecting Lele, and I will then go for a Poison Jab on Arcanine and hopefully lower it to a point where we can maybe take it out with a Sacred Sword, maybe even get a Poison. Just want Arcanine to be a little bit lowered, and I'm scouting for Lele's Protect as well as maybe a switch out from Lele. Do have the Rain working on our side as of right now, though. Once Marowak's in, it won't be on our side anymore, but it is on our side while Kartana is in and Arcanine is out. Arcanine is the one to switch out, though, obviously wanting to recycle in that Intimidate, so smart play by my opponent. We are just protecting. Maybe a Moonblast went into Muck, but I doubt it. Probably was targeted on Kartana. Nope, Protect comes off on Lele. We'll get a Poison Jab off, but a knockoff would have been better. And we don't get a poison again, but that is fine. So I see a switch out from Lele back into Arcanine, so I will Sacred Sword that slot so that we can get Arcanine down to a more, back to a more Oh, as my opponent stays in. Outsmarted myself. My opponent stayed in. Really good play by them. Yeah, I completely outsmarted myself, and my opponent decided to actually stay in. So that will knock us down to our sash, and Porygon 2 is actually faster than our Muck. So that'll even be knocking out our Muck. So this game's looking like it's pretty much over. That was just a very solid prediction on my opponent's part that I may over predict, but kind of felt like I needed to go for that prediction, as most people do switch back in there. They just recycle around their Arcanine a lot, which is why Arcanine is one of the best Pokemon in the VGC 17 format, as it's Intimidate's really, it's the best Intimidate Pokemon and comes really in handy with dealing with Kartana, even when you're not in the battle, because you can continue to recycle in the Intimidates, and it's pretty nice. I guess I'll finish this out though, so we'll just go for a Shadow, or do I want to go for that? Yeah, we'll go for a Shadow Bone on Lele, and we will just go for another Poison Jab on P2. Arcanine seems like it's coming back in, which it is. Psychic comes off from Lele onto Marowak. It should live, not well though. It does live. We'll take out Lele. And we do finally get a poison, but a little too late. And I likely should have protected Marowak. Didn't realize that was the last turn of Psychic Terrain, so that would have been nice to not have been hit with that. That would have been pretty nice. But I would have then been taking a Psychic and a Chanel, so kind of would have added up. So either way, just not the best. So I'll finish it out. We'll go for a Protect, and we will go for a Taunt on P2. Arcanine does go for Snow. Alright, that Porygon 2 is doing massive damage. So we'll just see how this last turn plays out. It does miss Marowak, which is the only reason why I stayed in this game. Was I was thinking if Snarl missed Marowak, maybe we had the slimmest chance. I feel like I'll lose either way though, because of the fact that my Muck is on a timer and my opponent has another Pokemon in the back. They do decide to also double target the Marowak, which only makes sense. So that's definitely game, so I'll just forfeit after this one. Did just want to see that prayer song. Want to see it once. Oh, and we do get another poison, which would give us a chance if we weren't on this, we're on a timer now. And either way, I wasn't going, whatever my opponent's last Pokemon would probably be able to easily take out Muck. These two just struggle because this is pretty obviously a Flamethrower Arcanine, Flamethrower Snarl Arcanine, so it can't do much to our Alolan Muck, and then Porygon's just never been the most offensive Pokemon. But either way though, I'll just actually just forfeit this one. The Will-O-Wisp on Arcanine so early on onto our Muck really hurt its usefulness, which was really nice for my opponent. Just a solid Pokemon to have next to Lele, honestly, because Muck is one of the most notorious answers to Lele, and being able to just Will-O-Wisp your opponent's Muck is a solid way to make sure that Lele is not in as much as danger, because then Poison Jab becomes a 3-hit KO, so you can deal with it much better than either OHKOing your Lele or bringing it down to too low up at health, especially with the chance of getting poisoned too. So just a solid team, honestly. But not too bad though. Did get to feature this team a decent amount, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this feature of James Baek's Dragonite team. I'll leave a link to his channel, so you guys should definitely check him out, as it's really cool that he made such an interesting team here. Hopefully we can bring the the two that benefit the most from rain, well, obviously the Rain Setter and Politoed, and then the one that benefits from it in Dragonites. Hopefully we can bring that combination in the next episode. I'll definitely try to bulk record that so that we have it already for you guys tomorrow, instead of me trying to record it tomorrow and after work and then it just get up so late. So I'll definitely try to stick to that and get that out for you guys. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next episode of VGC Climbing the Ladder. For now though, I'm gonna get the heck out of here. Have a good one, guys.